Alright guys, so a quick update before this video even begins. While Sony hasn't even revealed what their console looks like, Microsoft has already revealed the release date for the Xbox Series X because kings make king moves, just saying. Anyway, the Xbox Series X release date is in November 2020. Whoo boy, okay. We'll see what Sony does now. We'll see what moves they have to make because they need to do something. Anyway, back to the video. So, my country's in lockdown, I've got nothing to do, PlayStation 5 news has just come out, so you know what that means. I'm going to make a video about both consoles. So, the PlayStation 5. To say that I'm disappointed, I think would be a fair assessment. Now, it's not that the console's weak, by any means. Like, it's 10 teraflops of power, it's got a faster SSD than the Xbox Series X does, but other than that, the Xbox Series X seems to kind of just step on this thing. Like, it's kind of worrying for me, because I do like Sony. I oftentimes to my family, I just be like, oh, fucking Sony, don't like it. But like, I really do like it. And I love the games that Sony create. I love the PlayStation 4 exclusives. But especially with this generation, or the last generation, I mean, being the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, it seems that power really did determine what console was brought. Now, the Xbox One had a very, very janky, unprofessional, I'd say, E3 presentation, whilst the PlayStation 4 had an extremely well-made presentation and showed off that it was more powerful than the Xbox One, and also poked fun at the Xbox One by saying they can share games. Obviously, by launch, you could share games on the Xbox, but it was too late. The damage had already been done. But this year, Xbox kind of just came out of the woodworks and said, hey, look, here's the Series X, 12 teraflops of power, completely backwards compatible to the Xbox One, something I'm going to talk about with the PlayStation 5, and is compatible with other games from the Xbox 360 and the Xbox, the original. Now, getting to the PlayStation 5, unfortunately, it's just not compatible with every PlayStation 4 game. It's not compatible at all with PlayStation 3 games, PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1 games, which, Sony, wake up. You need to start doing that. Like, backwards compatibility is so important with a console. A lot of times, it determines whether the person can even afford to get the new console. Because some people sell their old consoles to be able to have just enough money to buy the new one. Lucky for me, I work. At the moment, I can't because I'm on quarantine, but you know what it is. I work, so I get paid. I can afford the console. Some people can't, you know? They have to sell their consoles, but if they can't play their old games, there's no incentive to sell their old consoles, and then they can't afford the new one. Which is a shame. Sony, please get on that. Make PlayStation 3 games compatible. Make PlayStation 2 and 1 games compatible. Make all of the PS4 games compatible. This is something I want to talk about. You can play almost, not all of them, almost 100 of the most popular PlayStation 4 games, right? Now, that's not great, okay? A lot of people would say, oh, but it's 100 games. That's so many. And it's like, yeah, of course it's a lot of games, and like barely anyone plays 100 games at any given time, but why aren't all of them compatible? It kind of blows my mind, because the Xbox Series X has all of the Xbox One catalog available to play, from launch, okay? Sony, or the PlayStation 5, for some reason, just doesn't. It has, I'm going to guess about 80% of the 100 most popular games, so about 80 games, literally. Now, I literally cannot see why this is a thing, unless Sony do something really bad, and I hope it's not, where they make a paid subscription service to play them, which I'm really hoping they don't do. I'll be quite disappointed in Sony as a company if they do that. So what we know now is that the Xbox Series X is fairly more powerful than the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 is still powerful. It's still about as powerful as a decent game, or a good gaming PC. The Xbox Series X is about up there with modern gaming PCs, like that could be built today. And you look at that, and you've got to be a bit happy about that, because going a bit off topic here, you look back to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Sure, they were powerful consoles, they were next-gen consoles, okay? But they were still like 5 to 7 years behind in terms of hardware. Like, we've got to keep in mind, I believe the 10 series, actually, I'm going to look this up really quickly on my computer, so you're going to hear a lot of clicking, but it's quite bizarre to me. Like, when did the 10 series GPU come out? I need to find this out. So, okay, the 10 series GPUs were released in 2016, right? Today, in 2020, now we're at the Super 20 series GPUs, which will soon be followed by the, I guess, I don't know, maybe 21 series GPU, I'm not too sure. But looking back, it was only a 3-year difference between this and the Xbox One and PS4. Before that, they had the 980 Ti, which was still way, way more powerful than these consoles. I don't exactly know how many teraflops it was. I'll put it on screen as to how powerful the 980 Ti was. But it was way more powerful than the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. But now we're getting a 12 teraflop console, which is comparable to the 20 series GPUs, if I'm being real. If not, I'm making a huge mistake, and I'm going to look this up and fact check it, and I'm going to put "I'm an idiot" on text if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain it's comparable. From what I remember looking at, I own a 2080. Please tell me I'm right on this. I'm going to be embarrassed if I'm not. But still, you got to be happy for the new consoles, because they seem to be on the same level of power as modern PCs, which, just being real, the original consoles when they released, or the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, just weren't. They weren't even close. They were way behind at the time, about 5 years, pretty much behind. It's just bizarre to me, because even before that, the GPUs were still quite powerful for PCs. It's like 4K gaming was starting to become possible with the 980 and the 980 Ti, and then we got to the 10 series, the 1080, where it was possible to play 4K games quite frequently and quite well. Now we're at the 20 series. Put 2 of those suckers in your PC, mate, you're playing 4K perfectly fine, 200 FPS. Which makes me makes me point out the really cool thing. The target for the Xbox Series X is 4K 120 FPS maximum, which is extremely, extremely impressive for a console. Most of the time, people are going to be playing in 1080p. Most people don't have 4K monitors. I am fortunate enough to own one. However, sometimes I do wish I stayed with 1080p, because it would just make games perform better. 144 Hz, chief, it's just better, okay? It's not worth the graphical difference, which on a 1080p monitor compared to a 4K monitor, the difference isn't too noticeable. Sure, things look a bit smoother, you kind of reduce the need for anti-aliasing, but if you've got a powerful enough PC or powerful enough console, anti-aliasing is going to not be an issue in terms of performance. It's going to just, it's going to help, essentially. It's going to be really cool. I'm personally really excited for this generation. I want to see where Xbox goes with this. I want to see where Sony goes with this. It will be quite jarring if at some point they do a mid-generation. This I refer to as something like the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro. I've always just decided to call those kind of consoles mid-generation. I did that with the Xbox 360 Slim, but it wasn't more powerful than the original, so it wasn't really a fair thing to call it. But the mid-generation consoles for the generation we're currently in, of course, count, because, yeah, they were more powerful. The Xbox One X being like 6 times as powerful as the original Xbox One, I believe, something like that, and the PS4 Pro being about 2 teraflops weaker. So we've kind of got the same situation again with the next-gen consoles, with the PlayStation being 2 teraflops weaker and the Xbox being 2 teraflops, obviously, higher. But other than that, there is some stuff that the Xbox One is just flat out better in. And there is a few, like 2 things that the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 is better at than the Xbox Series X, like the loading speeds and something else. I can't remember what it was, but it was better at like one other thing. But other than that, this generation, I feel like buying the Xbox for cross-platform games is probably the best idea you can have, especially if it's as powerful as modern day PCs. It will be cheaper than modern day PCs too, because they wouldn't even dare launch a console with a very high price tag like a PC. I can see it probably selling for around 450 to 500. 600 is way too much. The PlayStation 5, I'm not too certain at what price they'll launch it at. If they launch it at the same price as the Xbox Series X, then it's a rest in peace for Sony this year. They will struggle to sell drastically. I mean, I don't know. I'm still excited. I want to see where this goes. I want to see where Sony goes with exclusives, because I'll definitely be getting a PS5 for exclusives. For crossplay, I'll be getting a Xbox Series X, and for just when I'm kind of chilled and bored, I'm going to continue with my PC with a 2080 in it. So yeah, that's going to be good fun. Anyway, that's kind of the comparison video, I guess, of the two consoles. I am excited for both of them regardless, and I will be buying both because I can. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. I've been Jake Place. This is like the first video in like 28 billion years, and I will see you in the next one. Peace, and thank you so much for watching.